everyone. Thanks for stopping by. This is me, 143. This is Jen. If you don't have friends, you have one now. Talking to you today about unconditional love. And one of the topics I want to talk about is ourselves. With the new year coming, it's hard to love and accept other people when we don't love and accept ourselves, meaning physically, mentally, and all around. Accepting our talents and everything that makes us the person that we are, the person that wakes up every day. So one of the things that I'm doing is in 2020 is I'm doing a numbers tour, and it's helping people realize what their number is. The numbers tour is really cool because you don't have to start it in January. You can go any time of the year. You can start it, today, tomorrow, whenever you want to. But what it does is it focuses on where you are currently. So one of a positive word or a positive way that we think of ourselves currently, and then 2 additional words that we're going to focus on that are going to make us better versions of our current self. So for example, and the cool thing about the numbers is that they're yours personally. And the numbers are kind of encryptic because nobody else knows what they are. Nobody else, knows what they mean. You'll once I explain it, you'll see what I mean. That it's really cool that you can work on yourselves and develop new versions of yourself, and nobody has to know. I mean, they'll see a difference. Of course, they'll see a difference. But but you can do this daily, and nobody will be there to judge you on it. Nobody will be there and be like, oh, well, you know what? Today you weren't doing this, and you said that you were going to do that. So the cool thing about it is that your numbers are yours personally. And so, okay, so for example, I'll give you my numbers that I'm going to start working on in 2020. So my first number is where I currently am. So I currently feel that I'm driven, like I'm a driven person. I've got goals, I've got dreams, I'm going for them. So my first word, driven, that is 6 letters. 6 letters in the word driven. So now 2 other words that I want to work on that are going to make me a better version of myself. The second word is going to be empowered. Many times my schedule will dictate my life, and I need to pull back on my schedule so that I'm dictating my life and not a schedule. So I need to work on empowering myself, because once I take the power back and not have my life run by a schedule, I'll be happier. I'll do things with more joy and so forth. So that number is 9, because there's 9 letters in the word empowered. There's 6 letters in the word driven. And so then the last word that I'm going to focus on is going to be brave, meaning I'm going towards goals. I'm going towards new adventures, but my thing that I need to work on is being brave. And so that number is 5. There's 5 letters in brave. So my personal number is going to be 695. And so I'll know daily, okay, if I have an issue or if I feel like I'm down, I need to work on my 695. I need to work on empowerment and being brave. And so what happens is once I start mastering being empowered and being driven, what that'll do is say, if I master empowerment first, that'll bump out my first one, which is driven. So now empowerment will go in the second, empowerment will go into the first slot, and then my brave will move to the first spot, my second spot, and then I'll pick a new word, and then I'll start working on those together. And then once I master one of those 2, it'll move to the first spot, bumping empowerment out of the way. And so when you start working on little steps at a time to build a better version of yourself, that's when it makes it a little bit easier, instead of saying, you know what, I've got this and that I need to work on, and it becomes overwhelming, where, it shouldn't be an overwhelming process. You should be able to enjoy the process of growing, because when we're not growing in life, we're dying. So we want to grow, and we want to grow as people. And That's another thing too, is once you pick a word, you don't have to tell anybody what you're shooting for. Or take somebody that maybe, in my circumstance, somebody that's, very good at, juggling their time, or time management, and, maybe getting with a person like that and saying, well, how do you do it? Do you cut back on this, or how do you fit it all in so that you can enjoy your life and enjoy the process of the day to day, instead of being rushed around or being frustrated. So the numbers tour is really going to be cool, because again, it's individualized, it's something personal, and it's something that you can work on daily, and nobody has to know. Even if you don't work on it daily, you can work on it a couple times a week, but then you'll see your progress when you start moving those numbers, and it moves to the first spot, or it moves to the second spot, and you're like, oh great, I get to pick a new word. And again, these are words that are yours. You don't have to tell anybody, because the worst thing that somebody can do is talk to somebody and they say, well, you know what, you're not really, Jen, you're not really driven. Well, I think I'm driven. I feel I'm driven. Or here's another thing. If you are stumped and you don't know, or maybe you're kind of lost at, well, maybe what number should I shoot for? What word should I shoot for, so that I can start building a better version of myself? Ask somebody very close to you. Say, when we talk, or, where do you think I might need work in that area? There's lots of different areas that people need work on. But the key to that is compassion and love. Take everything with constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is our best friend. And we need to accept it and take it with the fact that if people are telling us things, that means that they obviously think something wonderful of us. So, or they think, what, I'm telling them this because I care about them, and if they're really going to work on things or improving things, then I think that's wonderful feedback. So take any kind of feedback that, if you feel that you need to reach out to somebody for help on finding out what your numbers would be, take that feedback, but take it back with a loving heart, and know that you reached out to them, and so forth. Now, that doesn't give the other person a right to be cruel and mean and so forth, but compassion goes both ways. So anyways, so excited to start this journey. I'm so excited to share more about numbers, and my next video is going to be on how the numbers are going to affect you. And then we're also going to dive into the Unconditional Love Pledge that's in the back of the Definition of Unconditional Love book, which the pledge can be done by children, it can be for adults, and it is just wonderful because it encompasses loving everything about us and loving everything about the person next to us. And you don't have to agree on everything, but you should be able to have a conversation with somebody, a healthy conversation, and learn different things. And many times people feel that they have to have a conversation in order to argue or get their point won. Sometimes you don't need that. I have plenty of friends and family members, and we share total opposite opinions on different things. And that's okay, because the wonderful thing is that we can sit down and we can have conversations. And nobody walks away with hurt feelings. And, it's like, okay, well, great, I get it now. This is why they feel that way, or and so forth. It's, don't be afraid of difficult conversations, but don't also go into those difficult conversations with the, I've got to win somebody over. You don't need to win anybody over. If you have feelings and you have an opinion, that's your right. And you have a right to have those opinions. But, a lot of times too, in hearing other people's opinions, you may learn something. Or you may say, wow, you know what, that's a good point. I never really thought about that. So who knows? A lot of great things can come from healthy conversations. So try to do those. It's 2020. Again, it's a time to, it's a new era. It's a new year. And this is a great time to be bold, to be out there, to be, just to show the world who you are. So I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you for stopping by. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Tell all your friends, and we will be back later. See ya.